fine. Now, as I told you, SAP BW or BIW or BW on HANA basically divides into again three areas here. Okay, here we say modeling, extraction, reporting. Okay, fine. Modeling, SAP BW basically divides into three areas: modeling, extraction, and reporting. Okay, fine. When you say modeling, say I have water in the river. Okay, I want to get this water to my apartments. So what do I need? I have a water in the river and I want to get this water to my apartments. So what we should do? What do I need? It's a simple question. Day-to-day activities. Everybody will be seeing this one, right?
Pipeline, sir.
Fine. We need a pipeline. Okay, fine. If I have the pipeline directly, the water what I have in a river, can I directly get it to my apartments?
No, sir. We have to decide.
We have to place it in a tank, right? Storage locations, tanks. Can I drink the same water what I get it from the river?
No, sir, we can't.
Purification, right? Purification. We purify the water because the river what we have, the water what we have in the river may not be directly drinkable, right? We cannot drink the water directly. So we have a purification system where the water will be purified. From there, yes, again, we store the data in the respective area tankers, overhead tanks. From there, the water will go to the respective apartments. From there, the water will go to the respective apartments, right? Same thing we do in the BW. So in the modeling, this is what we are going to create. Pipeline to transfer the data from different source systems to your BW system. Okay, the same thing we perform in the BW system as well. So what are the components here? These are the few components. I'm not writing everything in detail because we are going to cover this all these parts when we are taking up a regular class. Okay, so info objects. There's a component called info object. Like in general term, we call it as fields. In Oracle, we call it as field, like your customer, product, vendor, plant, region, country, right? These are all the fields. The same fields in BW, we have a terminology called info objects. Okay, and then we have DSO, data store object, info cube, multi-provider. Okay, transformations. So these are the few components that we'll be using in SAP BW system to create your pipeline, to transfer the data from different source to your BW system. Okay, and in this training session, we will be covering, we have to extract the data, right? So what are the different types of extraction data? We will be using it. So suppose I have a data in flat file, that is your Excel sheet. If I have the data in Excel sheet, how I have to extract the data from that Excel sheet to the BW system, we'll be covering in this session. Then if my source is SAP, means your functional modules. And also we have different extraction methods. LO extraction means if you want to extract the data from logistics module, like your sales and distribution, material management, production planning, warehouse management, retails, there's a different method to extract it. So we'll be using LO extraction. Then we have COPA extraction. Controlling and profitability analysis. This is part of the finance. finance. In order to extract the data from this module, there is a different method. Okay. Generic extraction. Generic extraction means the best part of SAP is we need not to create everything from the scratch. SAP has already done the global analysis and they have delivered all the components, means almost 70% of the component which are used, which will be used in the organization, are already created and delivered along with your software itself. Suppose if your business requirement doesn't satisfy with respect to that particular component which SAP provides, then we can also create our own. Component. That method is known as generic extraction. Then we have enhancements. Means suppose I have a already structure. In that structure, I want to add 2 more fields. So I can also do that activity. Instead of creating everything from the scratch, my business requirement satisfied 80%. 20% I have to do the customization. So that concept is known as enhancements. Okay. So these are the different extraction methods that we have it. And also we will see there is a concept called APD, Analysis Process Designer. This is if you want to extract the data from tables to BW, that can also be done, or from BW to external systems, that can also be done. So we will be covering this topic as well. There is a component called APD. Then reporting. In SAP BW, SAP provides, there is a component called BEX, Business Explorer. Okay, this is an inbuilt component which is delivered by the SAP along with your BW component. Okay, is a reporting tool. It is a reporting tool. The best part of this tool is the output of your report is in Excel sheet. The output of your report is in Excel sheet. Okay, so these are the things what you have in SAP BW. Basically, the SAP BW divides in 3 areas. Modeling, it is nothing but we use different components. To create your own data flow. Okay, and then extractions, we have the different extraction methods to extract different data. Like logistics model data, there's a different method. For COPA, controlling and profitability, there's a different method. Okay, we can create our own extractor by using the generic extraction. If you want to add new fields, then we use an enhancement. And if you want to transfer the data from table to BW system or from BW to external system, we use APD, Analysis Process Designer. And the reporting, Business Explorer, it is a tool which is provided by the SAP, and the best part of this tool is the output is in Excel sheet. Okay, and we will also be covering the component called business objects. Okay, in other trainings, guys, this they will also consider as a different topic. But when you go for an interview for BW position, okay, 90% of the client, they will be asking the business objects as well, because this is also one of the reporting tool. Earlier it was a third-party tool. SAP has acquired this component in 2008. From then onwards, it is also an SAP product. Okay. In this training session, we will be also covering the business object topics. Here we have basically major components, like there is a component called Web Intelligence Reporting. It is a tool which is used to create an ad hoc reporting. And then you have a Lumira Designer. Okay, this is used to create your dashboards, like with your graphical presentation. Okay, and then promotion management. If you want to transfer the data from one system to, we have development system, quality system, production system. How do you move these objects? This is also important. So we'll be covering this part. And there's a one component called IDT, Information Design Tool, or UDT, Universe Design Tool. Okay, this is also one of the like designer, like modeling part. Okay, we'll be covering this topic as well in the same training sessions. We are not going to charge you anything extra. As I told you, when I say if you guys are training from our side and going out, you will be going as a complete analytical consultant. where you'll be getting the knowledge of BW on HANA, and the business objects and also apart from that, in 1 or 2 hours of session, I will take SAP Cloud Analytics. SAP Cloud Analytics. This is one of the again new reporting tool which is within the SAP itself. Okay, this is again, if you want to learn this is a completely different package. So, but yes, whenever you are going for an interview, they will not expect you to. You should also know SAC, but as an analytical consultant, yes, at least you should have a knowledge. What is SAC? How it is different from your BW reporting? Okay, that knowledge you should have it. That is the reason I will also taking a 1 hour of session on SAC, so that at least when they ask you something, you should be able to respond. Okay, fine. Do you have any questions or any doubts over here, guys? And one more thing I see, if you want to get into an IT, industry, the most two important points. One is you should talk. Because when you go for an interview, no one will ask you the system or no one will give you the book and pen to write it, right? They'll ask you the questions and you should respond. That means you should talk. First point. Second point, if you want to really get benefit of the any training session you join in our course, or if you go and join in any other course, what I expect you guys is you should ask whether it is the right you should, whatever silly doubt you may have in your mind, please clear it out, because whatever that leads to a many misunderstandings, and you'll have the same doubt in your mind, and when you go for an interview you will be end up with some incorrect answers or inappropriate answers. Okay, that is one point. The other point is you should speak. As I told you should speak, because the more you speak, the more you be familiar with the terminologies. You have to read and you have to speak. And why I said anybody can learn, okay, I have explained you this one. There is nothing technical over here much, only a data flow, means is a drag and drop, creating the objects, the simple things are there. Yes, there is also some ABAP coding which is required in this BW also, but it is not mandatory that we have to know it. Why? Because in any project, in SAP project, we'll have a specified ABAP resources. So whenever we need ABAP help, we can ask them to create for us. We can ask them to write a program for us always. Okay, so it's not a mandatory. Okay, as I told you, the total duration of the session will be 50 hours. Okay, and daily I'll take 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes for initial 5 days, and from then onwards I will take daily 1.5 hours specifically. Okay, and every day you'll be getting my notes, what I am taking, the same like screenshots, I am writing it over here in the PPT, right? The same thing will be shared. Along with that, you will be getting the recordings. These all the sessions we will record it and we'll send it to you across, or we will put it in the Google Drive. From there you can download it. Okay, apart from that, you will also getting the notes. You will also getting some materials for the respective topics on the each weekly basis or daily basis based on the topics what you're going to cover. Okay, and the other thing is I'll be giving 4 assignments in between. Like once we complete the modeling part, then I'll give you the assignment. Then I'll give you, yes, coding will be there for sure. As I told you, the ABAP is a coding language in SAP BW, and when you say BW for HANA, there's a SQL statement. Okay, which will be always you can take the help of a ABAPus. There is no, it's not a mandatory thing that you have to learn. You have to know it. Okay, it's not a mandatory that you have to know it. But yes, I will show you where to write the code, how to write the code, Okay, in which scenarios you have to write the code, so that you can always explain the same thing in the interview. Yes, in this scenario we have to write a code, and this is the code what we have to write it. This is the code that we have to write it, and you can always take, you can say that yes, I have taken the Abapos help to complete the task. Okay, and at the end of this training session I will be explaining you the two projects end-to-end cycle. How do you get the requirement, how do you prepare your technical specs, what is that you're going to maintain in the technical specs, and what is that you're going to maintain in the functional spec, and how do you do the testing, regression testing. And then also we will be seeing, I will be practically it's not possible to show you how to move the object from one system to another system, but yes, theoretically and single system I will show you how to move the objects, how to collect the objects. Okay, and at the end I'll be also sharing you the BW interview questions, which is important, and also I will share you some sample interview questions, okay, and sample resumes, and I'll expect you to prepare, you see the resume and prepare your own resumes, okay, and send me across so that I can validate, okay, so that I can validate and discuss the same thing with you. And how to prepare for your interviews I will be taking up 2 sessions, which is apart from this 50 hours. Okay, in what are the interview questions that may ask you, and how do you respond, okay, and how do you create your resume. These are the very important points which will be also taken in this training session, guys. Yeah, that's it from my end. If you have any questions, uh, you can ask me.
Sir, small dots, sir.
Yeah.
So when we want to make some, objects in the SAP BW workbench, so we need to create in real time.
No, as I told you that 70% means, see, SAP has already provided you standard objects, standard reports, standard dashboards. Okay, the SAP has already created these objects and they have already delivered. So you have to activate those objects based on your business requirement. Assume that if any object which is not available, yes, at that point of time we have to create the respective objects in the respective place. In the BW, in the modeling, if you want to create an info object, there is a place from where you can create your info objects. If you want to create a cube, there is a place where you have to create a cube. In the same way, you have transformations, you have DTPs, right? You have info sets, you have multi-providers. These are all the components are available. If you want to create your own, yes, you will be able to create in the respective places. But it
Yes,
all
sir. My doubt is, sorry to interrupting you, sir. My doubt is, once we get the request from our client, so we need to make that, or else if we modified, we need to make the documentation, right?
Yeah, obviously. See, when you see, okay, fine. I will tell you one example. Say, I have an info object called customer, or I will say material. Material is an actually a inventory, right? module. But the same material we can use it in SD as well, right? And warehouse management as well, right? And sometimes we may also see in FI as well. So that means it is a cross-functional object. Okay, this is a master data, global master data we'll call it as. Suppose if I'm changing this object, if I'm changing to the existing object, we have to maintain, we have to discuss with all the team members, because you are not only the person who is working on BW. There are 4-5 resources who will be working on the BW. So everyone should be intimated saying that, boss, I'm doing these changes to this object. Please make sure that whenever you are moving this object to the production or quality, you capture this one and based on your requirement make a suitable changes.
Sir, have you got any real-time documents to share with me?
Yeah, we will be sharing, as I told you, right? So I'll be sharing you those a template of a FSD, template of the technical design document. What are the things you need to maintain? Yes, those all things can be shared.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anything else, guys? Any questions or any doubts? See, for this training, for if you want to learn SAP BW, okay, the most important, as I told you, one is you have to be clear with your doubts. Don't hesitate to ask a simple, stupid question. Okay, we all are. I have also started from your level, right? So I know. Don't worry. No one will be a perfect. So everyone will have some doubts. You clear yourself. That will be advantage for you. Don't think about what others will think. Whether it is the other thing is, if I'm asking you something, whatever you have in your mind, you come up. If it is right, then it is very good. If it is wrong, still it is very good because you are correcting yourself, right? So that is one point. The other point is SAP is a navigation system, guys. You have to practice daily at least 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours you have to spend for reading and practicing. Okay, you do this thing for sure. Within 2 months, you will get a job. Study day-to-day activities, whatever we are covering, please cover that point, and then practice what all the things what I am covering, and also the notes what I am doing. Just go through that. That will be more than enough as of now. And then once you complete the training session, then I'll be sharing you with the more documents. Then you go through that. Give yourself 1 month of time to read different scenarios, different theoretical part, more of that. Okay, and then you can go and appear for an interview. That should not be a problem, I think. If you spend at least 3 years serious about your career, and if you want to get a job, these things is a mandatory. Don't miss the classes, because these are all connected. Okay, even if you miss one class, again it will be a bit difficult or challenging for you to understand the next day classes. Okay,